Ready? Set? Adventure! Welcome to Hikanuki World Tour and our trip to Florence, Italy. We'll see some great works of art, enjoy some great food, and sample some great local wine. We'll experience some Florentine history, make pasta Florentine style, and take in the sights and sounds of Florentine life. There's so much to see and so little time, so andiamo! Let's go! Our adventure began at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. We were getting ready to embark on a 2-week trip, starting in Italy's Tuscan wine region and ending at Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany. Our first destination was Florence, Italy. We left Chicago at 3 in the afternoon for the 8-hour journey to Frankfurt, landing at 6:30 the next morning. A hearty dinner was served on board. After a nap and some TV time, it was time for breakfast. Start your day with a turkey ham and cheese panini or an orange cinnamon roll. We landed late and had a tight connection for our next flight to Florence. We were met with a long, glacially slow line in passport control, and even with a valiant run through the airport, we still missed our connection. Although we had a 90-minute layover, it wasn't enough. We were booked on the next flight 4 hours later and did what we had to do. We went and got a local beer and some fine German cuisine. Although upsetting, we made the best of it and even left our mark behind. We slowly returned to the gate to wait for our flight. At that time, we had about 2 hours until boarding. That's one thing about travel, especially international travel. You have to be flexible. Another thing about international travel, you often have to take a bus either from or to your plane. Our bus ride was so long, we felt like we were driving to Florence. We finally got to the plane and had to wait just a little longer to board. We said goodbye to Frankfurt and started the hour-and-a-half journey to Florence. Florence was a small airport, and it seemed that every flight landed at the same time. We're on an organized tour for this trip, and the tour operator arranged for an Uber to meet us at the airport. There's also a train station right at the airport. We got our first glimpses of beautiful Florence on our way to the hotel. In this video series about our trip to Italy, we'll be presenting information by category rather than by day. Here are the categories for Florence and when they appear in the video. Join us as we explore Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance. Florence is a very walkable city. In fact, the couple of cab rides we took were a bit harrowing. Plus, many streets are pedestrian only, and taking a cab can sometimes take longer than walking. You'll find art everywhere in Florence, and not just inside the museums. And pretty much anywhere you stop is Instagram worthy. One of these stops should be the Ponte Vecchio, or Old Bridge. The current bridge dates from 1350. It's the only bridge in Florence that was spared destruction during World War II. The bridge connects the historic city center with the aristocratic Pitti Palace and Boboli Gardens. Shops have been located here since the 13th century. Initially, butcher shops, fishmongers, and tanners were located on the bridge. Unfortunately, these shops caused foul odors and disposed of their wastes into the river. So in 1593, Ferdinand I decreed that only jewelers and goldsmiths could be located here. And today there are nearly 50 shops along the bridge. On the bridge you'll see the bust of Benvenuto Cellini. He was a renowned Renaissance artist, adventurer, and goldsmith. let's take a closer look. Today you'll find the bridge lined with very high-end, recognizable name shops that I'm sure would make the Medici family proud. This could be the perfect place to pick out a souvenir of a lifetime at a touristy price. Above the bridge was a private walkway used by the Medici family so that they could get from the Uffizi over to their palace without having to walk amongst the common folk. Pose for a picture in front of the colorful character Cellini, best known for his sculpture of Perseus, which can be seen in the Loggia. Or maybe just take a selfie with the beautiful buildings that line the Arno in the background. Of course, not all shops are high-end. The unique beauty of the Ponte Vecchio is definitely a city highlight of Florence, Italy. So join the masses and capture your own photograph. But don't linger too long because there's plenty of sights to see in Florence. And no trip to Florence would be complete without a stop at some of their beautiful churches. We headed first to the Piazza Santa Croce. This is one of Florence's main squares. Many historical buildings line the square, but the main event is the Franciscan Basilica. The square was built to hold worshippers and also served as a place to host sporting competitions. This is the principal Franciscan church of Florence and also the largest Franciscan church in the world. Recognized for its beauty, it's also the final resting place of some of Italy's most famous people. For now, we'll take a glimpse inside with a more in-depth look coming up later in the video. After an awe-inspiring visit to Santa Croce, we headed to another must-see highlight of Florence, and that is the Piazza della Repubblica. As you can see, Florence is a very walkable city. You'll be surrounded by historical buildings and places of interest. We were only staying for 2 nights, which was definitely not enough time to see and do everything, but certainly enough time to motivate us to want to come back. The streets became more lively as we approached the Piazza della Repubblica. This was the ancient city center. Today it's a vibrant gathering area. You'll see the Arch of Triumph, built in 1895. This celebrates the transformation of the city square from an overcrowded center to a lively gathering place. Take a ride on the carousel for just a few euros. The square is lined with restaurants and cafes, and you'll often find street performers there. 3 cafes are located here, which were meeting places for prominent artists and writers. And there are other cafes and restaurants to explore as well. The upscale Hotel Savoy, as well as the Central Post Office, are located here. The merry-go-round has been a favorite for tourists and locals alike since 1871. And now for a stop at Paskowski. In 1846, a Polish family opened a brewery here. Known for its elegance and refinement, it continues to be the epitome of a chic cafe. Be sure to catch some live music here at Cafe Concerto, or dine on superb Italian cuisine. Or be like us and just grab a few drinks. Enjoy the relaxing ambiance of sitting outside or step inside for a more refined experience. Visit one of their mixologists for a unique cocktail. And you won't want to miss the delectable pastries. You can't go wrong with any of these delicious, sweet treats. And when in Italy, you better have an Aperol Spritz or a local beer. This beer even came with its own ice bucket. Another don't miss is the wine window. There are 285 still in existence. During a plague in the 1600s, 12% of Florence's population were killed. The wine windows were perfect for what we would call today social distancing. Next, we set off to find the Mercato. We passed by this sculpture which pays tribute to victims of a devastating car bomb in 1993. There's no shortage of leather goods in Florence, although some are more leather-like than genuine leather. We walked through the San Lorenzo neighborhood on our way to find Mercato Centrale. The first floor houses the fresh market and wet markets. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, it was closed. However, the second floor was still open, where you'll find a variety of stalls and different cuisines. Our next highlight, and a definite don't miss in Florence, is the Piazza del Signoria. Signoria means government or lordship in Italian. Ahead of us with the tower is Palazzo Vecchio, and on the right with the open archways is the Loggia del Lanzi. Palazzo Vecchio is the city's town hall. The square is considered an open-air sculpture museum. The Loggia has 11 statues. Look for the lions representing the Medici family. You'll see Perseus with the decapitated head of Medusa. Hercules with the centaur Nessus. This is the actual marble sculpture, while the plaster model is within the Accademia. The sculptures in the Loggia represent a departure from depiction of religious scenes. I'm sure the Medicis would ban all of the pigeons. At the doorway is a copy of Michelangelo's David. To the left of the building is the Neptune Fountain. The square has been the site of many major historical events, including executions. On the left of the entrance, you see the replica of David, and on the right, Baccio Bandinelli's statue of Hercules and Caucasus. The original David statue used to stand here, but then was moved inside to the Accademia to protect it from the elements. Don't miss Donatello's statue of Judith and Holofernes. At the corner of the building stands the Fountain of Neptune. The fountain was commissioned by Cosimo Medici to celebrate his gift of clean water to the city, plus the marriage of his son to the Grand Duchess Joanna of Austria. The piazza is a popular place for man and beast. Do you think those horses are related? While we didn't go into the Museum of the Palazzo Vecchio, we did visit the courtyards. And there's the Medici crest. And the symbol of Florence, the fleur-de-lis. This area is free to enter and has beautiful artistic elements, such as the little angel with dolphin in the center of the square. The white and gold frescoes depict scenes from Greek mythology. There are ornate carvings on the pillars. Architecture is a blend of medieval and Renaissance styles. We're looking forward to our visit to the Uffizi Museum and the Accademia. You really will find art everywhere in Florence. As we continue our walk around Florence, let's head to one of the most recognizable sites in the city, and that is the Duomo. Because parking is nearly impossible, you'll see a lot of people on bicycles, but we found walking to be a great alternative. Good luck, Portia! Sidewalks can be narrow, so be on the lookout for the occasional car. As you approach the Piazza del Duomo, or Cathedral Square, you'll see why it's one of the most visited places in Europe. There's a concentration of beauty, art, and spirituality here. There's more than 700 years of history and beauty in this square. This is just a peek, as we'll be exploring more on our upcoming tour. That was a look at some of the highlights of the city of Florence. Come along now as we take a deeper dive into the art, wine, food, churches, and our hotel in Florence. If you'll recall, we missed our connection from Frankfurt to Florence. We had pre-purchased tickets for the Uffizi Museum, so when we got to Florence we had to hit the ground running before the museum closed. Museums and churches, oh my! Florence certainly has a lot to see. While many tourists come to see the David statue, the Uffizi Gallery is not to be missed. Considered by many to be the most important art museum in all of Italy. Plus, if you're looking to get your steps in, this is the place to go. Be sure to buy your ticket in advance and note what days the museum is closed. We only had 90 minutes before the gallery was going to close, so we had to make haste. Tickets were €25 and non-refundable. They honored our tickets even though our admission time was 4 hours before. We didn't have time to see everything, but we wanted to hit as many highlights as we could. Let's slow down now and take a closer look. The gallery was initially built to house the administrative offices of the Medici family. In fact, the word Uffizi means offices. 25 years after it was built, in 1584, it was converted to an art gallery. The Medicis were avid art patrons. They filled the Uffizi with works from Renaissance masters, and it became a symbol of Florence's cultural dominance. It was also a place for them to showcase their wealth and taste. With over 10,000 works in the collection, including sculptures, prints, and drawings, the gallery usually has about 2,200 on display. They range from the Middle Ages to the modern period, with a special emphasis on the Renaissance period. Works from artists including DaVinci, Michelangelo, Botticelli, and Raphael are here. You probably won't be able to see everything on a single visit, and we certainly can't show everything, but here are what we found to be notable highlights. You'll find iconic works from the geniuses of the Renaissance period, many of whom lived and worked in Florence. Although we didn't, you may want to take a tour, as the gallery can be a bit overwhelming. The Tribuna Room, with its beautiful red walls, housed Medici's finest art and treasures. Among the statues you'll find there today include Medici's Venus. This is one room where you won't be able to get too close. This room tends to draw crowds and long lines. There's a main entrance where people will line up to catch a glimpse of the statue. Walk past the line, around to the left, and you can see the side entrance where you can also get a very good view of Medici Venus. While exploring, don't forget to look up. Take a peek out the window to admire the tower and the Duomo. If you want to climb either of these, be sure to have a ticket in advance. I've done my best with attributions. Let me know in the comments below if there are any that you know the names of or that I've gotten wrong. Botticelli's Birth of Venus is one of the most popular works here. All of the colors are remarkable, as is the magnificence of the detail in all of these works. We were here late in the day and the crowds were minimal, so it was easy to get up close to the different paintings. Sometimes I had to remind myself that I was looking at an original painting by Leonardo da Vinci. The collection here is remarkable. We saw as much as we could in a short amount of time, and this reminds us that we need to come back to Florence in the future. So much to see, but our 90 minutes were up and they announced that the museum was closing. The staff had a long day and were ready to go.
I thought they would never leave.
Mamma mia, what a day.
After touring the gallery, make a stop at the gift shop and pick up a book to remind you of what all you just saw. On our final morning in Florence, we took a walking tour. Here's our tour guide, Alex. He'll be taking us to the Accademia to see David, along with other sites along the way. This was our first stop. This was a former Benedictine convent. While the building exterior was rather unremarkable, inside there was this beautiful fresco of the Last Supper. The room we're in was actually the dining hall of the convent, and the fresco was painted around 1450. Bold colors and details of the fresco were amazing. There are other works of art on the walls as well. On the back wall, you could see the synopia, or the red-brown pigment used for preliminary drawings of the frescoes. This is a little-known museum as evidenced by the lack of crowds. Our guide Alex was very knowledgeable and passionate about his city of Florence. These works date back to the mid-1400s. And here's another synopia, followed by the completed work.
Rome was pagan until Constantine. Rome was pagan. So if you are a Christian and you wanted to show your martyrdom, you are killed. So for this reason, this is the San Marco.
After that brief but interesting stop, we continued our walk down to the Accademia. We passed the Museum of San Marco, a former monastery. This wall plaque marks the gardens where Michelangelo studied with Bertoldo di Giovanni. Because we were only here for a couple of days, there was no way to see all of the museums of Florence. We passed a group of university students. I'm not sure these were their fellow students. More likely, they were going the same place that we were. If you're planning a visit to the Accademia to see David, make sure you book your tickets well in advance. Tickets are both for a specific date and specific time. And even with a timed ticket, you may have to wait. Only a certain number of people are allowed at one time. So I would advise getting there early. Our timed ticket was for 9:30. One advantage of having a guide is that he knew exactly when to get there and where to go. If you didn't buy a ticket in advance, you may get lucky and be able to get in a standby line, but expect to wait. As you're walking, be careful not to step on the paintings that may be displayed on the sidewalks. Florence welcomes 2 million visitors every year, so you can expect crowds, and be sure to book tours and tickets in advance.
Then we are going to and then we are going to see the deck, okay? Any questions, please ask.
We started our tour in the Museum of Musical Instruments. On display are about 50 instruments from the private collections of the Grand Dukes of Tuscany, Medici, and the Lorraine families.
And now I'm going to show you the one of Stradivarius which has never been modified. So after the David is the most valuable item.
Due to the glare on the case, it was hard to film, so here's a picture from their photo gallery.
This is the Queen. So this is really priceless.
The collection includes violins, violas, cellos, harpsichords, and others from the Renaissance and Baroque periods. This is said to be the oldest vertical piano in existence. Cristofori was the inventor of the piano. He didn't like that you couldn't control the volume on the harpsichord, so he replaced the plucking mechanism with the hammer, and the piano was born around 1700. Paintings on the wall represent musicians of the Medici court. This is the Garanda, but is also called the hurdy-gurdy. We we said goodbye to the musical instruments and headed into the art gallery. As expected, it was quite a bit more crowded than the Musical Instrument Museum. Among the beautiful paintings in this gallery is the Sabine sculpture. But interestingly, this is the plaster sculpture, whereas the marble sculpture is outside, located in the Loggia del Lanzi. While the Accademia is smaller than the Uffizi Gallery, it gets a little overwhelming with all the crowds. Although you have a time ticket for entrance, you can mingle as long as you like. Our guide pointed out highlights of various works, but also gave us time to explore on our own. All works are well marked with the name of the artist, name of the painting, and year created. Unless you're well versed in art history, we would recommend a guide to better understand the myriad of paintings found here and make the most of your time. There's definitely a theme of religious devotion, and all the paintings show intricate detail. I heard this gallery described as a living archive of human creativity and artistic achievement. And I agree 100%. For those of us who are not art historians, I'd recommend doing this and the Uffizi Gallery on 2 separate days. Otherwise, you might just get too overloaded. But it is absolutely amazing to see all these works by people you've only read about in textbooks come to life. As you walk down the hallway toward the David, you'll see a number of unfinished pieces by Michelangelo. It gives you a glimpse into his genius and the way he carved the marble, always starting at the front and making it look like he was excavating something out of the marble. Look closely and you can see the marks that his tools left behind. Many of these so-called prisoners look like they're trying to escape from the marble. And up under the dome is what most people here have come to see. Personally, I've never seen the Mona Lisa, but most people say it's a lot smaller than they expect. That you will not say about David. The sculpture is 17 feet tall and was carved from a discarded piece of marble that no one was able to work with, except for Michelangelo. He chose to sculpt David in the biblical story of good versus evil. With his slingshot over his shoulder and rock in hand, he's ready to beat the unbeatable. With his stance, he exudes the confidence of youth and faith in God. The sculpted details show off Michelangelo's genius. Even his rival, Leonardo da Vinci, had to admire this work. It's definitely one of those things that you have to experience in person. Here's one final look before we move on. We were on a schedule and missed out on the room of plaster sculptures. Of course, that gives us a reason to come back in the future. By the way, the Accademia has the largest collection of Michelangelo sculptures in the world. And it also has a large collection of souvenirs in the gift shop. David is truly a rock star. In all, we spent about an hour and 15 minutes here. And back outside, there were even more people waiting in line. The next stop on our tour was a short walk to the Piazza del Duomo and also the baptistry dedicated to St. John the Baptist. And on the way, we saw Leonardo da Vinci's house. If you see that a tour group has stopped, you can be pretty sure that there's something of interest. And probably one of the most recognizable landmarks of Florence is the Duomo. For spectacular views, climb the 463 steps to the top, but be sure to buy your ticket in advance. The cathedral is also known as Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore. This is the baptistry of St. John the Baptist, Florence's patron saint. Here's Alex giving us a little history of the area. Even though Florence is relatively safe, when you're in an environment with this many distracted tourists, be aware of pickpockets. We first entered the baptistry. Dante called this My St. John the Beautiful. Its origins are a source of debate, but we won't get into that. The baptistry stands in front of the cathedral. This is an octagonal building with works of art adorning its exterior. On our visit, mosaics were being restored, so there was a lot of scaffolding in the area. Be sure to look down at the floors and the intricate marble inlays. And of course, look up to admire the stained glass and the mosaics. You can see the difference that the restoration is making in the mosaics. Here you see the crest of the Medici family. Coins from visitors are given to charity. The 13th century mosaic is made up of more than 10 million tiles.
So my itinerary starts here. I'm baptized. I go to paradise. I live my life following the three theological virtues. I come back. I die. I will live forever if I behave in heaven.
Outside the baptistry is the cathedral and Giotto's bell tower. If you choose to, and if you have a ticket, you can climb the 414 steps to the top of the tower. And back at the baptistry, don't miss what Michelangelo named the Gates of Paradise. There are 28 panels, with 20 depicting the life of St. John the Baptist. This is a replica with the original gates safe inside the museum. And this is another busy place, especially with tour groups. Unfortunately, our tour did not include a visit inside the cathedral or into the tower. We were leaving that afternoon for our next stop, Siena, Italy, and just didn't have the time to do everything. We were a little disappointed by this, but carried on. We walked back toward Piazza Repubblica for a quick stop at one of the cafes. We chose Cafe Gili, which has been in Florence since 1733. It's an institution, really, so we thought we better stop. It's known for its pastries, fine chocolates, and coffees. The iconic photo by Ruth Orkin, American Girl in Italy, features this coffee cup. We grabbed a pastry and continued on our tour. One thing I liked about this small group tour was that our tour guide was very amenable to what we wanted to do. He had certain things for us to see, but he was also willing to do what we wanted to do and to deviate from his itinerary. He was engaging and knowledgeable and made our morning a lot of fun. Our next stop was outside the Orson Michele, or kitchen garden of St. Michael. The first thing you notice are the statues on the exterior of the building. These represent patron saints of the major Florentine guilds. There are 14 niches in total. The significance of this building is that it was both a grain market and a church.
With the floor, with the smaller windows, this was the mezzanine. Mezzanine comes from the Italian word mezzo, half. So this was the floor of the servants. So if a family had the floor of servants, means that.
This is an example of what we would consider graffiti, and here's an example of original graffiti. And now it was time for the last stop on our tour. This was a 4-hour tour that helped us discover Florence. Ever since our first night here when we stopped at Pizza Napoli, we've been wanting to try a sandwich from the famous sandwich shop, All-Antico Vinaio. And our guide Alex was happy to oblige and took us to the shop. Although the line was long, it moved quickly. It only took us about 15 or 20 minutes from the time we got in line to the time we had our sandwiches. and the wait was definitely worth it. Our guide said that he and his wife enjoy eating here too, so it's not just for tourists. The shop is very organized, and there's a big menu on the wall, so pick what number you want and order. And workers are happy to customize your sandwich just the way you want it, and also cut it in half because they're big enough for sharing. Of course, you'll have to agree on what you want in your sandwich, which we couldn't do and ended up each getting our own. But at 9 or 10 euros, prices were reasonable. Now let's watch the art of sandwich making in Florence, Italy. Here's the Italiano masterpiece. It was made with prosciutto, mozzarella di bufalo, pesto, and tomatoes. I had the pistachio number 3 with mozzarella, pistachio cream, zucchini, and sun-dried tomatoes. The excitement of getting your sandwich. And I would say that our sandwich masterpieces lived up to the hype. The only downside is there are no tables, so you'll have to find a spot outside. I'd say part of what made the sandwich so good was the bread, and everything tasted fresh. So don't be intimidated by the long line, it's definitely worth the wait. And there's always good people watching in Florence. As part of our group tour, we tasted wine throughout the region of Tuscany. The tour operator arranged for each tasting, the first of which was in Florence. The tours included transportation to and from the wine tasting, as well as either a snack or meal. These were fun and informative, and of course we took the opportunity to send some wine back home. This is a small shop not far from the Accademia. They have a wide selection of wines, are happy to ship it home for you, and although we only had small appetizers, the pizza looked divine. We were escorted to the back of the shop where a table awaited us. Of course, we couldn't help but browse the wine selection and wonder which we were going to get to taste. They've been wine merchants since 1938. Presentation of the wines was given by the father and son team who run this shop. We left feeling like we had learned something and enjoyed the wines we were able to sample. The first thing we learned is that Chianti refers to the region and not the type of grapes. And wine labeled Chianti Classico comes from a very distinct region and must follow very stringent rules to be labeled Chianti Classico.
But south of Florence instead we have the Chianti Classico, the Chianti family of wine. South of Florence a little bit better because of the weather and the climate. Something that you don't know, Chianti is the name of the area, the name of the type of wine, but the grape inside is called Sangiovese. It's perfect because Sangiovese for us is the most important grape, and it's also the grape inside the Montepulciano, the Montalcino, and inside some of the Super Tuscan. So for us it's a very versatile grape.
Cheers! Let the tasting begin. We started with a Chianti. Because this was a wine shop and not a vineyard, we tasted wines from all different vineyards and different vintners. And now it's time for our first appetizer.
2 different types of salami, yes.
Okay.
The one with the
Super Sam?
yes, this one is we call it salame toscano. The one that has the black pepper inside, you can see it.
Okay,
The other one is from
different
Milano.
one,
We
so
say
I can-
salame Milano.
And now Chianti Classico. You can tell by the black rooster on the label.
Yes, and this is what the DOCG on the bottles mean.
The DOCG designation ensures that the wine is of a certain quality. Next, we had a selection of Italian meats and cheeses, followed by fried onion rings, zucchini flowers, and olive balls. The appetizers were okay, but I would have preferred the pizza. Our next wine was a Chianti Classico Reserva and another black rooster.
In which we divide three kinds of category. The first category, simple Chianti, that we have taste. Essential information for you to know, the simple Chianti have the opportunity to go anche outside the historical area, no? In the white and less orange point here. Chianti Classico, the second typology, needs to come from the historical area. This kind of third wine that we go for taste is 3 years aging wine.
In all, we tasted 4 different wines. Because we paid one overall price for this vacation, we don't have a breakdown for how much the wine tasting cost. We enjoyed the wine, but thought that the food could have been a bit better. Our trip will take us deeper into the Chianti and Chianti Classico regions, and we're anxious to try wines there. After the tasting, we headed back out to the streets of Florence and hopefully to find some food. Maybe this guy can offer a suggestion. The first food adventure we had was making our own pasta at the Bardi restaurant. We were a little surprised by the popularity of this, so if you want to do it, make sure to book early. Of course, it did offer all the wine you could drink. There were 3 separate rooms where instruction was about to take place. Equipment was laid out neatly, waiting for the aspiring chefs. We'd never done this before, so we weren't sure what to expect, but we were pleasantly surprised. If you have room in your itinerary and need a little break from art and churches, this was a fun way to spend a morning. The restaurant sits above centuries-old ruins, which you can view through the glass floor. We bravely walked across the glass floor to wash our hands and get ready to cook. We donned our aprons and waited for instruction. But first, a little red wine. All the ingredients looked fresh and delicious, and we were anxious to start. A Florentine sofrito starts with celery, carrots, and onions. We'll be cooking 3 different shapes of pasta and 3 sauces today. And now here's our instructor, Chef Andrea.
Okay guys, welcome to everyone and good morning. And thank you for your time. My name is Andrea and today I'm going to be your chef. Together we are going to discover the secret behind the Florentine ragu, and I'm going to tell you the difference between the Florentine ragu and the Bolognese ragu. After this sauce guys, we are going to make 3 different shapes of pasta. We are going to make tortelli, ravioli and pappardelle. You like garlic, basil and cherry tomatoes? Yes, of course, we love it. When we want to make the ragu guys, we have to start with soffritto. Here in Florence, we do the soffritto with just 3 vegetables: celery, carrots, and the onion. And we start to cut it as you like. So, if you want to make a soffritto, the most important ingredient, and this is an ingredient that we use every day, not only in the kitchen, guys. Love! Love! Love, guys. Every time when you cook, you have to think about someone that you love, guys, okay? So like me, think about yourself. Our vegetable here. Here in Florence, we love to use these fresh aromatic herbs because when we make the ragu, they're going to give a lot of taste. A little bit, like this. Beautiful. This is 100% ground beef meat, and this is, guys, Chianina ground beef meat. You know what is the Chianina, guys?
The local cow, right?
Yes.
There was also a non-meat option for this sauce.
Just a little bit consumare. Okay, it's not much. Half bottle, okay? Now, the other half bottle is for you. Like this. It has to get dry. And listen to me. Don't rush your ragu. Only the fools rush the ragu, okay? You have to cook it gently. Piano, 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 piano.
And now it's our turn to make the pasta. With a little, or maybe a lot, of help from the chef. This was the ravioli.
1, 2 finger of distance, guys.
Guys.
And here's all of our hard work getting ready for the boiling water. I'll just say that not all pasta was rolled equally, and therefore consistency was a bit of an issue. But we all put out good effort.
Look at this. Guys, here we start with just 2 ingredients. We start with butter and we start with sage. That's it, okay? You have to do this cream. Look how creamy it is. Just butter and sage and a little bit of boiling water.
And then it was tasting time. We paid under $40 for 3 different tastings, plus all the wine we could drink. So it was a pretty good deal. Now it's time for the next sauce, which was garlic and cherry tomatoes. Just wait to see how he cuts those tomatoes.
You need a sharp knife to do this, okay? Don't do it at home if you don't have it. Or do it if you want to go to the hospital. Slowly. Fine, do it together.
And into the water they go. That's a lot of pasta.
And we got it. Bye. Like this.
And there's more. Here comes a pappardelle with the ragu. He did have another pan on another burner that he did not add the meat to. So if you're a vegetarian, you could still eat. Another Florentine masterpiece. And here's the QR code in case you want to book for yourself. And that's how we spent our morning making pasta. We weren't quite sure what we wanted to do next, but this guy pointed the way. We took in the sights of the Arno River, the Ponte Vecchio, and then, with bellies full of pasta, we did the only logical thing, and that was go for gelato. I would say in Italy, I've seldom met a gelato that I didn't like, and this was no exception. My go-to flavors are usually pistachio and salted caramel, so that's what I got. There was a short line which moved quickly thanks to the efficient staff who were friendly and kind. Even though it was a small shop, there were plenty of flavors to choose from.
Thank you.
And now for the taste test. It was thick and creamy with flavorful ribbons, just like it should be. There was limited seating outside, so we ate on the go. Pizza Napoli is located in the center of Florence, near the Uffizi Gallery and across the street from the very famous sandwich shop. They serve Neapolitan-style pizza. It was fast and delicious. You can sit inside the small restaurant or sit outside and watch the activity on the streets. It was interesting to watch him stretch the pizza crust. Some pizzas even come in a heart shape. This is a great place to stop for a quick bite, and the prices we thought were reasonable. One thing to note when ordering pizza in Italy is that pepperoni refers to bell peppers, whereas salami is more like American pepperoni. You'll also find a bathroom here for customer use. We sat outside and marveled at the long line of people waiting for a sandwich. Based on its popularity, we knew we had to try it. We also enjoyed views of the bell tower. We chose the margherita pizza, and I'd say their pizzas are big enough for 2 people. The sauce was sweet but a little tangy, with plenty of mozzarella and just a little basil. Pizzas are not pre-cut, but our pizza was cooked perfectly. And the perfect accompaniment was a Peroni beer. If you're looking for a quick, inexpensive bite, try Pizza Napoli. While walking around in the evening, we found Trattoria Roberto. We checked the reviews and thought we'd give it a try. When outside the US, you're better off using TripAdvisor versus Yelp. We were a group of 8 and were lucky enough to find a table big enough just for us. Staff were friendly and it definitely had a family-run vibe. The menu featured many local specialties, so we were excited to try it. We ordered the red house wine as well as a bottle of the Moscato for those who prefer the sweeter wine. While we wanted to order the Florentine steak, we instead went with another specialty, the Chiangale. This is a sauce made with wild boar meat. The taste was hearty and similar to a pork taste. The gnocchi had a rich tomato and mozzarella sauce. Salad was fresh and mozzarella was delicious. We also tried the salsiccia fiorentina, a Tuscan pork sausage made with garlic and pepper. It was rather mild with nice flavor from the garlic and pepper. And back in the kitchen, here's a look at that Florentine steak. After dinner, we were served a complimentary Santo dessert wine. It was caramel colored with citrus tones and really not too sweet. It reminded me of a sherry wine. We really enjoyed our dinner here, and the hospitality made it even more special. On our walking tour, we saw the Duomo, the tower, and visited the baptistry of St. John. While on our own, we explored the Basilica of Santa Croce, another stunning example of a Florentine church. It was said to have been designed by the greatest architect of the time, Arnolfo di Cambio. He also designed the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, or the Duomo. With over 100 churches, we were only able to see a few. The Basilica of Santa Croce certainly stands out. This is the principal Franciscan church in the city of Florence. Take note of the marble statue dedicated to Dante on the outside. We were able to buy a ticket on the day of our visit, but this is a popular spot for tour groups, so you may want to buy a ticket in advance. When you enter, you can pick up an audio guide. Tickets were €10 with the audio guide an additional $4. The church was a huge space lighted by stained glass windows. You'll see floor tombs and memorials, which we'll talk about in a moment. The massive altar has more than 30 sections. The altarpiece was erected between 1325 and 1328. The church is truly massive, with 14 altars and 16 family chapels. The entire complex of Santa Croce covers 12,000 square meters and includes 3 cloisters. One of the most notable things about Santa Croce are the tombs and memorials. Dating back to the 1300s, initial tombs were simple gravestones on the floor. They were reserved for Franciscans who held important roles, powerful families of the neighborhoods, and important military captains. By the 14th century, the sarcophagus as well as monumental tombs became more popular. During the Renaissance, the wall tomb became popular. And you'll find examples of all of these in this church. Many famous Italians are buried here, including Michelangelo, Galileo, Machiavelli, and composer Rossini. There are also cenotaphs, or honorary tombs, as well as honorary plaques to famous Italians. For example, while Dante was born in Florence, his remains are in Ravenna, Italy, but there is a cenotaph dedicated to him. Santa Croce is home to more than 4,000 works of art. The high altar is surrounded by frescoes. About this place, Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "When I walk in Piazza Santa Croce, I feel as though it isn't a Florentine or a European church, but a church built by and for the human race as a whole." Masses are still held within Santa Croce. When there's so much to see, a guided tour is always a good option. Step outside to the first cloister and find God the Father statue, as well as the Pazzi Chapel. In the cloister, be sure to visit the Pazzi Chapel, an architectural wonder by Bruno Leschi. As mentioned, we were on an organized tour and all hotel selections were made by the tour operator. Our stay in Florence was at Hotel Orto de' Medici. Orto refers to a vegetable garden. Florence is a very walkable city and the hotel was a short walk from most of the city sites. Here's the familiar Medici crest. The hotel fuses history with modern conveniences. Legend has it that in this very garden, Lorenzo de' Medici met with Michelangelo and forged a partnership that transformed art history. Today, the garden provides a peaceful retreat where you can relax and recharge after a busy day in Florence. Some of the hotel rooms overlook the gardens. And up these stairs is a terrace where you can enjoy daily breakfast. We'll take a look at that in a minute, but now let's go look at the public spaces of the hotel. You'll enter the hotel from San Gallo Street, one of the oldest streets in Florence. It's about a 20-minute drive from the airport and about a €30 cab ride. Upon entering the hotel, you'll find the check-in desk on the left and a waiting area on the right. Umbrellas are available just in case. The hotel has an elegant, old-world feel to it with modern amenities. The hotel was formerly home of the Medici School of Art and Sculpture. A young Michelangelo himself trained here. In the mid-20th century, the Bufalini family bought the school and transformed it into the hotel. You'll find beautiful frescoes, antiques, artwork, and photography throughout. The music room had frescoes on the ceiling and deep, rich burgundy walls, as well as computer stations. A meeting room was also available. Our room was located on the second floor of the main building, and there is an elevator. We were in room 20. The room had one king bed and very high ceilings. A bit small by American standards, but the ceilings made it seem much bigger. We didn't plan to spend much time here, so it was more than adequate for our needs. And it had all the amenities that we needed. We would be staying here for 2 nights. The bed was a bit firm, but after a long day exploring was just fine. A small safe was provided, as well as a small refrigerator. The bathroom felt more modern and updated than the rest of the room. It was rather compact, but had the space that we needed. Bath products were provided. And in true European fashion, there was a bidet. There was a rain shower fixture with good water pressure, as well as a handheld fixture. Slippers were also provided. In the morning, we went downstairs to have breakfast, which was provided daily. We were greeted by a do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar. The buffet consisted of beautiful pastries, fresh fruit, torts and muffins, cheeses, and Italian meats. There were also hot items like eggs, bacon, and sausages. Or make yourself a piece of toast with jam. Or cold cereal and yogurt if you prefer. The food was fresh and delicious and the perfect start to our day. Make yourself a plate and eat either indoors or out on the terrace. On our visit in mid-September, the weather was perfect, so we sat outside. It was a quiet and relaxing place to start the day. There was also a small smoking area. We enjoyed our stay here for its location, clean rooms, and the added bonus of breakfast every day. We recommend staying here on a visit to Florence. No trip to Florence would be complete without a little exploration after dark. Although the city is relatively safe, just be aware of your surroundings. Let's take a walk and see how some of our favorite sights look after dark. So there are lots of things to do and enjoy in Florence, even taking a romantic stroll. We were there in mid-September and the evening weather was absolutely perfect. With so many reasons to visit Florence, such as the art, the history, the music, the culture, the food, or the wine, Florence is a place not to be missed. And the people are happy, friendly, and proud of their city. Cheers to Florence! It was great to be here with a beer. Thanks for joining us at Hikanuki World Tour as we visited the cradle of the Renaissance, Florence, Italy. Our travel wisdom for today comes from Virgil Thomas. In Paris, you learn wit. In London, you learn to crush your social rivals. And in Florence, you learn poise. Be sure to subscribe to Hikanuki World Tour. If you like the video, click that like button, and we'd love it if you'd leave us a comment. Please subscribe to Hikanuki World Tour as it really helps our channel grow. Hit that notification button so you'll know when our next video is dropped. And follow us on Instagram. We really appreciate your support.